Today we are going to get into the trunk. I've been trying to find I thought I was going to repair the trunk, then I'm not going to repair the trunk, and then I am repairing the trunk again. I just can't seem to find a replacement trunk, so we're going to really give this a shot. But before we get into it today, let's recap what we got done yesterday, which was step 3 of the KBS coating process. So let me go ahead and show you how that came out. Pretty pleased with the results, to be honest, as usual. I think you'll be interested to see what it looks like. Okay, so this is what the back of the car looks like. Again, remember, it's brushed on. I'm not really concerned about how pretty it is back here, but everywhere, and this stuff, when you paint with this stuff, it just doesn't feel like paint. I mean, you can see there's just something more to this stuff. All inside is coated. I haven't seam sealed yet, but everything that I wanted to be sealed is now sealed. It goes over painted surfaces just fine, but it's really the important thing here is getting the bare metal exposed to the KBS coating. And down in these kind of trunk wells is really where this car, and up way under here is really what was secretly rusting the inside out of this car in a few areas. And while it looks, okay on the outside, the underside was just secretly kind of dissolving to elements. So the important thing was getting it all coated. So to me, I love the way that looks because I know it's rock hard and it's going to last a long time, and the only way you're getting that paint to separate from that metal is by grinding it off, and I have no intention of ever doing that again as long as I own this car. So next we're going to just turn our attention to the trunk, and then once the trunk is done, I'm going to try and KBS coat the inside of the trunk because it's in really bad shape before I cut out some of this metal. So let's take a look at where we are today. Yesterday, if you remember, I was grinding out all the seam sealer, basically trying to expose the metal, and it's just, I mean, everywhere you look, it's just, this thing is just absolutely eaten away, and I really can't find another trunk. I would love to replace this. They don't make it. They don't make a repop. I don't care how good it fit. I would take it. There is a fiberglass one out there, but I just don't know, and it's expensive. But you can see all along here, all this pinch weld is all rotted underneath. So, not really sure yet how I'm going to address that, but it's going to be in an unconventional way, I can guarantee you that. I'm going to do a whole lot of kind of figuring it out on the way. There's cracks, there's just, the rot is staggering. And I think I hear from everybody that for whatever reason, these cars really, this area, for everyone I talked to who owns a Torino this year of 7071, has said that mice just love to live in there, even if you drive the car, which is crazy. So, and this was no exception. It was packed with rodent garbage. So I'm going to get the camera set up, and we're going to just do a whole lot of, I don't know, we're going to figure it out because I can't find another one, so I guess this one gets to live on again. Yay me. Grindy wheel that drives me nuts. Yeah, check. makes a lot more sense if I turn this towards the camera. Crispity, crispity. Garbage. It's just shit. Nothing like running the air compressor for 4 hours straight. starting to get wonky. Pull that. It's gonna. I think I can weld that. That worked out poorly. Not that far. Shall we? All right. Let's try this again. It's really that lead edge. I'm gonna bet it's gonna break. It's gonna start breaking. Just cut this. What if I welded that in there like that, and then work my way that way? That might work. No, because then it's going to want to fight me. Okay, let's give this another shot. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get it underneath the lip. And it's just fighting me a little bit. I'm not sure what you can see over there. Well, step closer. Let's try that. Oh, that was clever. That's the nice thing about rust. Like, things rot open so you can get things underneath. So I guess rust is good. Good rust. Good rot. Not to be confused with other rots. Let's take that out though. Okay. You know, it'd be nice if I had a hammer over here. Oh, I did have one. What did I do with it? Put it somewhere else. Here's my spoon. Oh, that worked. It's so rotted that it's like there's no edge. Owie. Will you just wait a minute? Where's my little C-clamps? Maybe we could get it in there. I have no idea how this is going to look. But I can promise you it will look like shit. Oh, cut that short. Isn't that a shame? Alright. Okay, I'm going to turn the camera off and I'll be doing some welding because it always seems to go off anyway, so. But if I can ever figure out how to do that without it going off, then we'll do that. But for now, I'm just going to get this piece welded in. I'm going to just take the camera in real quick. And just give you a sneaky peek of what it is that I got going on here. And go from there. Yeah, okay. So, before I turn the camera off and do some welding, this is where I am. This is where we are, right here. It's recreating that edge. The edge is gone on both the inside and almost the outside of the trunk lid. And I've cut all this away, and I've slipped this underneath a little bit here, and it's overlapping. I've got some, you can kind of see right to there. So what I'll do is I'll start welding this in, and then I'll start cutting this away until it flops into that channel there. And hopefully that'll remake that edge. We'll see. Because, again, I'm out of options here. Okay, guys, we're back at it on the trunk. I exhausted my search for a replacement and decided that either none of these are out there that are not rusty, or they're just, I don't know, that's it. There's just, I have not been able to find anything, which is fine because I've done worse, certainly not much worse, but worse. So what we're doing now is we're making replacement. I'm going to do it in pieces. I was going to try and do this whole thing, but I feel like I won't lose the orientation of this because it's really flimsy and it's not even really attached. I feel like I got a better chance of keeping it orientated the way I want, so, and where it should be. And yeah, as you can see, it's supposed to be there. So I'm just going to start it off by making this off of a template. I'm not sure what you guys are looking at. I started by making a template of the piece I cut out here, and it's much thicker gauge, way thicker. But this was as thin as it gets for old steel, I'm pretty sure. But I just wanted some rigidity, and plus I've got a lot of it from the scrap yard. That's a bit thicker. This is actually from an F-150, sorry. And I was going to use it on the car in another spot, and I decided that it just fits here. So I'm going to go ahead and start shaping this to fit inside the hole a bit. Not worry too much about all the welds sides because I'll be cutting some more of this away. But I just want it to fit in there to where it feels right. So that's what we'll get started on. this. This is not a show car. We're not parking this next to Chip Foose. Although he would love this car. Probably not. So what I'm going to do now, try to do this with one hand, is I like to see where I'm at by tracing out the new steel. You can see I've got a lot of overlap. And I can either grind it out of here or I can take it off of here. In some cases it makes sense to grind it off of here. Like this is going to all be replaced in here, so I don't really care. I'm trying to keep this original vent because I don't feel like making that, and it just might be, you know, more work than it's worth, but who cares? We'll figure it out. And there's also a roll here. It kind of rolls up, and I'm, you know, I don't know. This needs to go faster than it is, so I'm trying to be a little bit intentional about some of this stuff. Maybe I'll just grind this out because I got a overcut there. So we'll go ahead and maybe that's what we'll do. Helps to have a variety of different tools to get it done because it's so easy to screw up. Tasty. These are not welding gloves, just for the record. They are garden gloves, because I can't find my other welding glove. Because my shop is so clean. Good stuff. Quality content. I just like the great clean contact. If I'm going to get anything right, it's that, because you don't want to be the reason why it makes a connection when you're welding. That's kind of the last thing I want to do. Of all the things. Continue blowing holes in metal. And check. lot easier to blow holes into metal when you're doing it this way. Okay, real quick, when you're welding dissimilar thickness metals, it can be tricky because this is a lot thicker than this. So what I do is I kind of bias the weld bead onto the thicker metal so that you don't blow holes into the thinner metal, because your welding is, your temperature is hotter. My welds aren't that great. They're a bit boogery, because most of the stuff I weld is hot garbage and rusty. But at the very least, once I grind them down, they're as good as anyone else's, hopefully. Yeah, there's a weld. There's a blow through. That should close that up. It's not very pretty. For some reason, this corner's sunk. I'm not going to worry about it though. Boogie. Boogie Boogie Welds. Today we're going to try leading again. I think I've tried once before and it didn't come out that well. I'm going to go ahead and bring you in. This is the trunk where it was all rotted. And it's all replaced. I did it in sections, so it's not all that great to what I would say is, it's okay. It looks all right. It's good enough for what it is. This trunk was so just shot. This entire area from end to end was just gone. So what we're going to do today is grind out the surface to prepare it for the tinning effect. So that's the first step. So I'll walk you through it. I've watched Gene Winfield videos, and I would honestly say, if you want to know how to do it right, do it Gene's way. If you want to at least know how to do it and watch an amateur do it, that's me. So you'll at least get a sense of what you're up against if you're going to try it yourself, because it's not exactly an easy science or an art, but it is very much an artwork. So So with that said, I'm going to just start working on it. And if you can hear me, I'll just be talking to the camera. And if you can't, then you'll just get a visual representation of what I'm doing. But this has not been prepared fully yet. It needs to be cleaned to accept the first step, which is applying the tinning butter, which is what you'll do to prepare the surface prior to leading. So with that introduction, let's get started. Okay, now that I've got the grinding done, yeah, I think I always like to throw gloves on. I know a lot of people shame gloves, but you're dealing with chemicals, so find some gloves. Be capable of bending down without groaning first, but then find gloves. All right. Okay, so the first thing, now let's get the tallow out. And the first thing I like to do is get everything in place. Tinning butter is here. Check. This will be my I like to use this, and if you think I'm copying Gene Winfield on his video, you would be correct. He does use a torch. It's probably better. I don't have this. Is a lot cheaper to replace than the oxyacetylene that I have, so that's what I use. We need the tallow, and the tallow is used for keeping your paddle free and clear of debris so that you can work your lead when it's soft and pliable. This is not something you can do without. So if you're planning on doing this, you can make your own. You don't have to buy one, but I bought the paddles when I had a little more money at my disposal. There's still quite a bit of tallow on here, so I'm just going to let it ride for the first bit. I have a round one and a flat one. I kind of like both for different applications, and I'll probably use both, and I'll go get the other one. So what I'll first do is I'm going to warm up the spot that I want to do first, which I think is, let me see if you can see this, which is this edge right here. There's some pinholes, and I'd like to fill them with lead. And I like to use at least a good combination. Now remember, everything needs to be really clean. And this is as clean as you can get crazy with acetone, and you probably should. And now that I say that out loud, I should probably get some. What I'm going to do here is, again, this getting some. Alright, we're just going to do a wipe down of all the areas that I think I'm probably going to lead. I don't know how much, but it doesn't hurt to just clean everything. I want to do in here, I think, I did tack weld, spot welds, because I didn't want to warp this edge, and I think I might actually hammer this edge straight a little more before I lead so I don't crack it. Probably not a bad idea. Because it's a little bit heat. Well, it's actually not bad shape. Just a little bit in the middle. It's a little bent out of shape from the heat. So let's put the shape back into it that really should have had in the first place. When you're doing stuff like this, when it's I want to call it a mechanical edge or a bent edge, or you want to be careful not to flatten it. It's very easy to do. I mean, it's a scrap trunk lid. How fussy am I going to get, really? My problem is I can get very fussy. That's about as good as it's going to get. And I can probably tell, you'll see something on the camera that I'm not seeing, but I'm going to live with it. This thing is so rotted that its second life is almost undeserved. Undeserved. So the first things first is I'm going to heat up this area a little bit. I'm going to warm it. This stuff is a lot harder than your normal propane. It is Mappy Pro if you've ever used it. It's not professional pro. It's actually not as good as it used to be. It's propane, which sucks because propane doesn't burn as hot as where is it? MAP gas. So when you see MAP Pro, that's not professional. Don't be fooled. Scrubbing it. like to use this brush even though it melts. I buy a bunch of them at a time. This is how it sort of works too. It tends to scrub it real good. And what you're looking for is that silvering effect. And you know it's good when it gets silver. And I can see that it's turning this time, so we'll have an episode. Yay! It's not that great though. This isn't probably going to work perfectly, but it'll work enough. Okay, so now, I'm not sure what you can see. I'm going to see what you guys can see. So now that you can see that it's shiny silver in the camera, some areas that it's a little bit not shiny. There might be some questions there, and I would be willing to bet that there is, but what we're going to do now is it's hot, so what you can do is you can actually lay solder, or you lay your lead in there. You can pat it in, you can dab it in. It really depends on how you want to go about doing it. I'm looking for my lead. Should have had it ready. I did not. And you guys are all probably going to recognize. I got this from China Harbor. No, I got this from the China rainforest, I should say. You guys all know what that means. These are from Eastwood. These are you buy these in a bunch. They actually say Eastwood right on it, if you can see that. They seem to work better, but we're going to try this on some other spots. But for now, this is a small spot, so I'm going to lay a couple in here, and we're going to see what happens. I'm going to lay one. We'll see how much I can get out of it. I'm going to go get my other paddle. Make sure to see if it's usable. And one of the things that I'll show you is what I like to do is, I'll lay this here, is I like to get the tallow warm before I start using it. Okay, so this is the flat paddle, and this is the round one. You can see the contours are different. Do this. This is flat, this is rounded. And there's different reasons. You can massage this a little better. This one tends to dig in. I like to use this one to kind of move the lead around. When it's kind of soft, you get it soft and you can move it. This one will probably be good for this edge because I can really squish it in, but we'll see. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to apply a little more tallow. This one feels like it could use a little more. So what you'll want to do is just get some on there. Don't hit your paddle too much. And you can use, like I've got a welding glove now that I'm going to use. You want to get the excess off, but you want your paddle coated. So that one's coated, probably more than it needed to be. And then what we'll do is we'll set this one here. And you want your workspace to be clean. I'm going to be honest with you. If you guys are watching this, this is not a clean surface. This is not a clean environment. It definitely could be a lot cleaner. Those are hot already, just sitting there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to melt it. And because we're on this edge, you can see already that it already wants to move. And this is why I like this torch. When you're using a oxyacetylene torch, which is probably the preferred method, you just can't turn it off this easily. I'm gonna try this one too. See which one. Sometimes it's good to have both tools ready, because it allows for you to kind of play with it, see what's working for you. And if you're wondering why I'm doing this little spot here, it's because there were some pinholes in here that was going to be a lot more work. It was going to be a lot more work than it's worth. That little piece is getting quite far, and if it's not sticking, then I probably haven't prepared it well enough. Your solder will tell you where you're not, your tin, where you're not. Flexed enough. And it's unfortunate because I think when the metal is really oxidized, it doesn't like to tin very well, and that's kind of what's happening here. So we're going to go with that. Not a proud moment, but we got a spot here, so let's move on. That's pretty hot. Get a little butter. And you're going to see the difference on clean metal as opposed to, and you want ventilation. Stuff is so you're going to see now on a cleaner, less oxidized rust metal area, you're going to see how much different this works. Okay, probably a good idea now to find my wire brush. It's good to have, and I'm sweating. It's hot in here, and we have cicadas outside, so if I open up the door, chances are pretty good that the cicadas are going to come in and fly in our faces. So there's a spot there that I'm not happy with. That's going to be a problem. We'll try and fix that one spot. Okay, that looks really good. I'm pretty happy with that. Now, let's try it. It's steaming. And we've got a dip here. This is why I'm doing this. I feel like if I don't, you can see where the solder wants to go. If I don't fill that, then it will cause a problem. And it's very easy to ruin whatever it is that you've just leveled, so it's really optimal to try and get your solder in place. I mean, your lead in place where you want it, because it will walk on you. That's why you try to make it soft. Keep the heat on it so you can move it. As you can see, I'm moving it. But I'm not. I'm kind of moving it like soft putty.